YouTube, here we are. The old FJ, it went all winter long. I got it cleaned up, went to start it, and of course the $30-some lead acid battery that was a little less than 2 years old wouldn't hold a charge. When you buy cheap batteries and you buy cheap stuff, this is kind of what you get. But this time, because I plan on keeping this bike, maybe it's going to be an heirloom, I don't know. But plan on keeping it, so we're going to put a new battery in it. And I got this. This is a lithium battery. And let me tell you, I opened it up and I cannot believe how light this thing is. It is like featherweight. So let's see what we've got here. I'm going to open everything up. We're going to take the seat off. Don't laugh at all the extra wires that we have on the FJ. We have a dedicated ignition system. And I'm going to clean it up. Yeah, I mean, it's not like going to be a permanent thing. It's one of those things we wanted to get out and ride. So we wrapped everything up pretty quickly with the materials that we had on hand. And the ignition system, I put the module back here. A lot of people might don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, and I don't really have it permanently mounted. But it's a Dynatech, and I like the idea of keeping this back here where it's cooler. And since it's an air-cooled bike, there's a lot of heat. So I'm going to go ahead and get this installed, and we'll see what's going on here. This is the old lead acid battery, so let's get this thing fixed and done with. Okay, we've got the old battery out. It's the Bike Master, probably their cheap model. I'm sure that they have better stuff out there, but I opted for the cheap stuff, and that's what I get. So hopefully this thing, it'll last a lot longer. Being lithium ion battery, it'll take more charging cycles, but it should last a lot longer. It can be, like this has got acid in it, so you can only keep it up one way, because you don't want acid leaking out through one of the vents or anything like that. This one, on the other hand, doesn't have that. It doesn't have anything to leak out, so you can literally mount it any way you want, which if you're doing anything custom, that's a great feature. But this thing, pretty heavy. This thing, this feels like the box this one came in. So, but one of the things you'll notice is how much bigger this one is. So they included these, and we're going to put a couple of these on the bottom of our battery box, just to lift it up enough to make sure that we get a good straight shot there. And then we've got some smaller ones, which I'm guessing we put on the sides of the battery box, and it should be fine. So we're going to do that now, get everything mounted. So I'll show you the finished product in just a moment. Alright, here, I don't know if you can see down in there, we've got our bumper pads, the bottoms, and then forward and back to make up for the thickness of the battery. The battery was about the same width as the factory size battery. So we're going to slide that in and get everything connected. Hopefully we'll get a good start here in a minute. Get this old beast ready for spring, which is just in a couple of weeks away. Alright, here it's mounted. I'll tell you, I'm real happy with the way that this mounted up. It looks like it's going to be very straightforward. Now make sure, because this has two different ways, you can turn the battery around, and positive would be over here. You see what I'm saying? But our positive is on this side, so this battery has multiple applications, which is kind of nice. It really cuts down on the manufacturing cost. So for a good company, this means more profit, which hopefully leads to a better product for the rest of us. So ignore my mess here. Like I said, I'm going to be cleaning that up here pretty soon. But we're going to get everything connected. Positive wire first. Always do the positive first, because if you do the negative, you attach the positive, you have arcing. Arcing's not good, it's sparking. So gas tank's right here. We don't want that. So you have any kind of fuel leak, which I don't, but still, safety first, positive first. Alright, here we've got our battery in, our, what do you call it, firepower featherweight battery. So if you want one, there it is. Now it comes with a tester, so you have a test button here, and you see the LEDs So ours is fully charged according to this. Now, one thing I ran into, now this is a 36-year-old bike. So I was 14 when it was made. This was the original battery cover here, and this is one of the things that I'll, the positive post. So I'm going to be fixing this really before we go out and ride too much, but not too necessary. I mean, I've got everything out of the way. The bottom of the seat pan is plastic, which does not conduct electricity, so we won't have to worry about that. But I am going to get everything cleaned up here. That's going to be a big project for the weekend, so I'll be ordering wiring and high quality connectors. I'll be merging these two together. This is for the ignition. Like I said, the wiring for the ignition system is dedicated. Then we just have a cheap little accessory here for the, I bonded the tail lights a little bit better because I upgraded to sequential LED tail lights, and I didn't like the ground that I was getting. It wasn't a good connection. But you also notice, I've got this. I'm putting one of those on order so that we get the tank taken down. So let's get the keys out. This thing has not been started all winter, so let's see what we've got here. Now, like I said, what did I do with the keys? Oh, we're in here somewhere. Maybe I left them. I don't know. Ah, here we go. Always. This is what happens when you get older, guys. You just kind of forget things. So we got a bunch of motorcycle keys on here, but this is the one we need. So for you fuel injected guys out there, choke. Oh, already fuel pumps fired up. So. About this. Our start is always worse. Smoke stops, but kind of have a low idle while it's cold. That'll actually pick up. When I get into the higher elevations, I always have to adjust the idle. But that is the thing about carburetors, I guess. And like I said, this smoke gets it quite a bit better. But you know what? I think I'm going to take a little spin around the apartment complex here. Nothing too drastic. That does clear up, I know. I had the carbs custom jetted at a company called RPM Racing California. It is quite a bit richer than stock, but it had to be because when you put a big bore kit in, you're actually increasing the size of the engine. So it was optimized for the size of the engine. And originally, when Yamaha built these, they had a lot of emissions, regulations that really restricted these, almost to the point where, if you got a little too lean, you went into the mountains, you could wear out your engine, early because you were running so lean. So, although I still run 93 octane all the time in this, with it being richer, you have a little bit more of a cushion, for detonation. Like heat pre-ignition and stuff like that. So a lot of the heat-related things. And then one of the nice things that they did is they slightly adjusted the, enriching circuit so that the two center cylinders are slightly richer than the outer two, because the two in the middle actually get a little hotter, than the outer two because of the airflow. You get that exhaust flowing in, over that. So, got a few other projects we're going to be doing on this bike. The oil cooler is going to get upgraded here pretty soon. But let's take it for a spin. We'll see how this smoke problem, goes away. Talk to you in just a minute.